How you guys doing out there? My name is Kyle and I'll be reviewing Captain America Civil War, which I finally got to see tonight with my own two eyes. I have just been so excited for this movie. I have been anticipating this movie for 2 years and a month because that's when I saw The Winter Soldier, which is actually my favorite MCU movie. And I also really like the first Captain America. I have both of the movies over there on Blu-ray. Now I promise guys, there will be absolutely no spoilers in this review because I don't want to just spoil things to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a spoiler review a couple days from now. I'm very excited to do that because there is just so much to talk about. So the basic spoiler-free plot of this film is that there's an international incident that happens and the Avengers were a massive part of that. So the government comes in and decides, you know what? We don't want you guys to be working independently. You guys should not be your own unit. And because of this, they're having their weapons taken away, and they'll have supervision for basically everything they do. And this ends up splitting up the Avengers, while Iron Man is on the side of, you know what? We should be able to work with the government. We should be under control, because if we can't accept limitations, we're no better than bad guys. However, Cap disagrees with that, and he believes that they should be working independently because they're still saving people. And you, as an audience member, have to choose in your mind which side you want to take, and that leads to an epic battle, which I will not spoil. That happens at an airport that is amazing. For my Winter Soldier review, you guys know that I love this movie. This film is just amazing. I loved every second of this movie, seeing it when it first came out. To make a sequel to The Winter Soldier is like making a sequel to Spider-Man 2. It's a very difficult task because they were both great films. And I really enjoyed Captain America Civil War. I can tell you guys that. I had a blast with this movie. This movie was very fun, but it does have some problems, unfortunately. This is not going to be an A+ movie where I just talk about everything that's just so perfect with it, because I do have some issues with that. And a lot of them I can't discuss in good conscience because that obviously accounts to many spoilers. But I'm going to talk about the positives first and I'll talk about the negatives towards the end of this review. One of the biggest positives I have with this movie is that it's able to tell a very compelling and interesting story, filled with political intrigue, just like The Winter Soldier. And like that movie, it makes politics and political intrigue seem really fun. Like the stuff we want to know. Covert operations, Black Ops missions, it's all discussed in this movie. I firmly believe the cast of this movie had a blast filming it because this is a very fun movie. And their energetic performances really help because it could have been a very upsetting, down film, but they managed to make it really fun. However, it goes even deeper than that because there are so many incredible personal connections between the characters that it makes a very compelling story personally. As a story-based movie, I still think it's very good, but when you get into the psyche of the characters and their morals, their code, it's very, very good. And I feel like a big reason for that is the writing and the directing. The Russo Brothers really know how to direct a movie. They clearly know how to film action because the action sequences in this movie are filmed incredibly well. Now yes, there is some shaky cam and there is some quick cut editing, but it's not really meant to hide anything. I think it's meant to really elevate the intensity, as do most of the great action films that have come out in recent memory. I for one think that Chadwick Boseman does a terrific job as Black Panther, and he's a great addition to the Avengers, and I like the fact that we have another African American actor. I feel like it just brings a lot more ethnicity and diversity to the group. But my goodness guys, Tom Holland as Spider-Man kills it in this movie. He absolutely floored me in every single way. I loved his character. And guys, Spider-Man as a kid was like my favorite character ever. So seeing him in my favorite superheroes movie, it's like, can you ask for a better combination? You can't. Scarlett Johansson is beautiful once again as Black Widow, just kicking ass, and it's just beautiful to see. However, Elisabeth Olsen, in my opinion, really stepped up her game in this movie, and she's the actress that plays Scarlet Witch, and I feel like her character was a very interesting character to examine in this movie because she can maneuver and move objects with her mind, and that type of power can really cause a lot of damage, and it's shown at the beginning of the film. And I'm not going to spoil what happens later on, but her character does go through a lot of changes, and I think that she's a very valuable asset to the team. However, despite all these positives, I do have some negatives, and I feel like the pacing of this movie is a negative, because there are times where it kind of feels a little bit uneven to me. There are sequences and there are scenes in this movie that, I mean, have your eyes widen. You're just looking at the screen with intensity because they are so well done. And then there are other scenes that I don't think have the same amount of weight. And I feel like that's because of the villain of this movie. Now, I'm not going to spoil it to you who he is or what he is or what significance he has to the story, because there is some significance, but he just came across as a very weak villain in my opinion. And that is a big issue that the MCU movies have, is their inability to craft really excellent villains. Because in my mind, I think Loki is the only real main villain whom I've actually really liked, because he really was an imposing threat. The villain in this movie, I just did not really care about his character that much. He was just there to be the bad guy, and I feel like that's just it. Another issue I had is that I feel like certain developments for certain characters, and I'm not going to mention who they are, were kind of rushed. Some characters just really appear because they just have to appear, because the plot demands them to appear in those particular sequences. But some of the developments of those characters, in my mind, just wasn't really there. And I feel like that's because a lot of the script and a lot of the film was actually cut in order to make a 2-hour, 25-minute runtime, which is a very long time for a comic book movie. The most recent film, Batman v Superman, which was a comic book movie, I think was about the same length. And trust me guys, this movie is way better than Batman v Superman will ever be. But I do think that the development of the characters in this movie was somewhat lacking. There are many twists and turns in this movie that will definitely be in my spoiler review, but for now I'll just say that some of the twists in this movie are just electrifying. They will blow your mind. And that's what The Winter Soldier really did, is that a lot of the twists in the movie were made to make you really rethink about the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And some of the twists of this movie make you rethink about certain characters themselves. And I feel like the reason is you really care about the characters in this movie. You really care about Cap. You understand where Cap is in the situation, and you understand where Iron Man is in the situation. So by understanding the characters and their personal morals and their personal codes, it makes for a more entertaining story when all the twists get revealed for them. However, despite some story problems and brief lack of character development, I definitely recommend seeing Civil War in theaters. This is definitely the kind of movie that you do not want to miss. It just wasn't the movie that I thought it could have been. It wasn't at that near perfection level that Winter Soldier was. But in the end, guys, I really liked Civil War, and I think I liked it a little bit more than Captain America: The First Avenger. So guys, I'm going to give Captain America: Civil War an A-. Alright, so what did you guys out there think about Civil War? I would love to hear all those comments, so send them in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. As always, you guys are the greatest people ever. Thanks, and stay tuned.